Godzilla is now in New York City.
Monster 01 and 02, commence the attack.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Stomp This Way.
Welcome.
How are you doing today, Andrew?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Nice Saturday afternoon. It's like 50 some odd degrees outside, and it's a nice day. Nice day. And then you made me watch. No, but Andrew did. We are in debt to him for this week's movie. He found in the bargain bin or something. I don't know. He found.
I found it on eBay.
On eBay, I'm sorry. This little film, Croczilla.
Yeah.
Or alternate titles. In Australia, they just released it as The Crocodile.
A crocodile.
But the international title, and I think the more official title, now the DVD that you got did have Croczilla as the title on the DVD and on the title card. But the title that I see more often on the internet, on IMDb and all that stuff, and the official international title is Million Dollar Crocodile, which is much more fitting for the movie than Croczilla.
The Chinese version was Croczilla or something.
No, the Chinese title roughly translates as Million Dollar Crocodile. I think when they brought it over to the US,
They put it.
they were like, we need to spruce this up a little bit.
Croczilla.
So we're going to call it Croczilla, which is misleading because when I heard the title Croczilla, I thought we would get like a kaiju-sized crocodile tearing through Beijing or something.
They have that on the title
On the cover too, yeah. But this movie is actually mostly, we'll talk about it, but mostly a comedy about a bunch of people chasing a crocodile that swallowed a purse full of money.
To be fair, it is though way larger than a normal crocodile.
It is a big crocodile. It's an 8-meter crocodile, which would be
36 feet long.
Sure. I don't think 8 meters is quite 36 feet, but
Well, it says that on the.
I think that would be more like 10 meters, but sure. It's a big crocodile. The point being.
That's what it says on the title thing.
On the synopsis thing.
Synopsis thing.
But in the movie, they say 8-meter crocodile. So anyway, you want some?
Are they lying?
Are they lying?
Because
Well, he says 10-meter, and then the guy corrects him to 8-meter, and then later the cops say 8-meter crocodile. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a big crocodile. You want some production trivia?
Sure.
Well, this movie was actually shown at Cannes in May of 2012 as a work in progress, an unfinished movie. I guess they thought they had something, but we'll talk about it. But anyway, distributed internationally by an Australian firm called Odin's Eye Entertainment. I think the copy you got was Screen Media?
Yeah.
I think Screen Media, was that a Sony company back in the day? I don't remember, but anyway. And this was also the opening film at the 36th annual Montreal World Film Festival. So this was shown at multiple film festivals. I mean, I'm sure a lot of movies of varying qualities are shown at a film festival, but it's just kind of funny that it was this movie.
I'm pretty sure there's some really bad movies shown at some film festivals.
I'm sure there are. Anyway, it did win some awards though. At the Shanghai International Film Festival, at least in one of the categories, it won Best Director.
He knew what he was doing, the director. You can.
I mean, it didn't. I mean, it it looked professional.
Yeah.
I guess
They knew what they were doing.
I mean, they had a budget of some sorts, I guess. But at the Golden Phoenix Awards in China, it did win Best Male Actor in a Motion Picture, I guess, for the guy that played Officer Wong. But must have not been much competition. But anyway, and at the Macau International Movie Festival, it won Best Actress for the woman that plays Wen, or whatever her name is, and nominated again the guy that played Officer Wong for Best Actor. So, sure, I guess. I mean,
he wasn't a bad actor.
I
thought he did pretty decent.
I mean, I don't think he was a bad actor. I don't think the part was all that great, but sure, whatever.
I thought he
Anyway,
did pretty good.
I thought he did pretty good. Well, Andrew, what about the box office?
Well, there's not much. there.
Not much, no.
There's barely anything.
Yeah, that's true.
It was released, as we know of, June 8th,
Yeah.
2012,
Yes.
with a budget
Yes.
of 4.7 million.
Ooh. They had a little bit of money.
A little bit of money.
A little bit of money for a Chinese movie, probably of the time. Not bad. But anyway, we're going to listen to the trailer. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about the cast and the crew and the plot summary. And we'll talk all about Croczilla.
Yeah.
See you in a bit.
警察，我们能不能先去抓鳄鱼，回来再问这些啊？
我没事，大哥。
他现在是排卵期，一定是回园子里下蛋的。
还有，和鳄鱼正面遭遇的时候，一定要站在它的正前方。
警察！
Listeners, there it was, the trailer for Croczilla. Yeah, even the trailer sells it as much more of a horror action creature feature than the actual movie is. But anyway, cast and crew, and I apologize for butchering these names in advance. These are Chinese names. Directed by Lin Lisheng, written by Lin Lisheng, Ma Hao, and Ma Yu. Music by Dong Dong. I'm sorry. We respect everyone's name. And starring Barbie Sue, Gao Tao, Lam Suet, Shi Zhaoqi, and Zhang Jinjin.
I'm pretty sure it's not pronounced Barbie Sue.
Barbie Sue. Well, it is Barbie, but maybe HSU. Shoot.
Baba Sue.
The plot.
We are sorry.
We are sorry. The plot is more or less as follows. When retired performer Liu can no longer afford to care for his crocodiles, he sells them to Zhao, a corrupt restaurant owner who plans to butcher them for meat. Among the animals is a Mao, a massive 8-meter crocodile. Before Zhao can have her slaughtered, a Mao escapes. A Mao's next encounter is with Wen Yan, a young woman recently returned from Italy carrying 100,000 euros in her purse. A Mao snaps at Wen, swallowing the purse in the process, while Wen narrowly escapes by climbing an electric pole. Shaken, Wen reports the incident to local police officer Wang. Skeptical at first, Wang begins to reconsider when a villager reports a missing lamb. His doubts vanish when he discovers the lamb's severed head in a nearby lake, confirming the presence of a large predator. Wang visits Zhao's restaurant to investigate, leaving Wen in the care of his young son, Zhao. Zhao had often visited a Mao's enclosure and formed a bond with the animal, but when a Mao attacks the house, she turns violent when Wen attempts to drive her away. Wang returns just in time to scare a Mao off and save them both. As police organize a hunt for the crocodile, Zhao learns about the money trapped inside a Mao and assembles his own crew to track her down. When Zhao encounters Wen and Zhao, who are also searching for the croc, he takes them hostage and uses them as bait. A Mao appears, but spares Wen and Zhao, instead killing Zhao when he attacks her. Liu ultimately joins Wang in an effort to capture a Mao alive. Together, they lure her from the lake, and Liu nearly succeeds in subduing her until one of Zhao's surviving henchmen charges with a machete. Provoked once more, a Mao becomes uncontrollable, forcing Wang to shoot her and end the threat. In the final moments, Wang, Wen, and Zhao share a quiet family dinner. Nearby, unseen by them, a Mao's nest begins to hatch along the water's edge as credits roll. More or less.
More or less.
More or less the plot of the movie. So yeah, like I said, going into the movie, well, I'll say this. When I first saw the title Croczilla, I expected, like I said, a big, like giant crocodile tearing stuff up. Now I didn't read the plot, but I just knew from like reading my notes on this movie and seeing the little plot blurb on IMDb that probably was not what this movie was going to be about. I will say though that I did not expect it to be as much of a comedy as it really is.
Yeah.
Because it is, I think, first and foremost a comedy over anything else. I mean, you have the kind of opening scene where we're at like this, I don't know if it's a black market or, some kind of, fish market or something. And
it said the black market.
It did say the black market, didn't it? And they're selling off these alligators or these crocodiles, excuse me.
Crocodile, like black market selling thing.
Yeah. And they're selling these crocodiles, and there's this one bigger guy who will, he'll be the kind of the main antagonist of the movie. His name is Zhao. And he's buying crocodiles for meat for his restaurant. And he's about to buy this one crocodile, but this one guy with a staff comes in and says, "No, this one's mine." And then we cut to, that was like, I think in 1990 it said.
Yeah. And
then we cut to 2011. So, 2 decades later. And this little boy named Zhao, not to be confused with Zhao, is visiting a gator pen or a croc pen, I guess, where this, the guy that bought the croc in the first scene was Liu. I don't know. And the kid is feeding it, Zhao's feeding it like a little beef stick or something that he had, and trying to get a Mao to come out of her cage. But she's very shy. But then Liu comes and grabs him. He's like, these crocs will eat anything. And we get, through some dialogue that he's basically not able to afford to feed them anymore. So he's going to sell them to the Zhao guy, finally. And Zhao, he was promised that they would, take care of the crocs, but obviously they're going to use them for meat. And there's the whole scene of them like, shooting tranquilizer darts into a Mao and all that. And then, we get the scene of Zhao going home and we meet, I'd say the main character of the movie, Officer Wong. There's not,
Yeah.
like a lot of these movies, there's not really a strong central character, but I would say he's probably the main character, and he's Zhao's father. And Zhao had his report card eaten by a crocodile.
Yeah, he wrapped it up in the beef stick and fed it to Mao.
Did he?
Mao. Yeah.
Is that what he did?
Did you not watch that?
Well, I saw where he lost it and it flew into the enclosure, and he had to go get it. I didn't see him wrapping it in the beef stick.
It showed the whole scene where he wrapped it up in the beef stick and threw it into Mao's mouth.
Okay, I'm sorry. And anyway, so Croc ate his homework or whatever, and so then his dad's like, "Oh, you're hiding your report card because you failed," and then he makes him count corn. I guess that's a punishment
In China.
In China, I don't know. And he writes in Sharpie something on his arm because I guess he wanted to go swimming with his friends that day, but his dad wasn't going to let him. And the subtitles translated it as "go swimming," which didn't make much sense. But I guess it was just there so the dad would know if it was washed off, then he went swimming or whatever. But of course, he goes out swimming anyway. This is the second week in a row we've watched an Asian crocodile film with full frontal child nudity.
Yes.
So we get that scene, and the kids are all, naked and jump into the lake or river or whatever. And anyway, so we cut back, and Zhao and his men, he's got this butcher out there, and he's, chopping up the gators for food or whatever.
Yeah.
And they get a Mao out of her enclosure and have her all tied up. And of course, as soon as she sees someone coming at her with the machete, she breaks free and knocks the chef guy into the other gator enclosure, and he gets eaten, and she runs off.
He was the brother of one of the other
guys who's constantly crying for the rest of the movie. And and then after this is where the comedy really it abandons any real sense of thriller type mood and goes full slapstick comedy.
Yeah, then we get the scene in the car with this girl and her boyfriend.
The pop song, and she
it plays every time.
Every time she shows up, especially for the first half, when she's every time she shows up, complaining about the cops not doing anything or whatever. But he's her boyfriend's reaching his hand up her skirt, and then she bats him away, and she pulls out. She's says something about, "I've been working in Italy for 8 years, and look at all this money I've got." I thought she had been working as a prostitute in Italy or something.
No.
But later, there's some dropped line about she was, making purses in Italy. But
she has 100,000.
She has 100,000 euros, which would be 1 million won or whatever, or whatever the currency is. And anyway, but then she finds some lingerie underwear in her boyfriend's glove department, and gets into a fight, and then he just leaves her on the side of her in the middle of the highway. And then we get her complaining and walking, and then this is all being cut back and forth with the thing with the gator, I think. And then when a Mao breaks free, her first encounter with another person is Wen. Her name is Wen. She's walking through a a cornfield or something.
It was
rice field, whatever it was.
It was not a rice field.
I don't think it was a rice field, whatever it was, because we get again. You knew, she's walking through the field, and the gator comes up, and she does the whole screaming thing and swinging her purse at it, and it bites the purse and eats it, leaves only the straps, and then she climbs a little pole or whatever.
She did that before he ate the purse.
Oh, was that before?
She was on the pole
and swinging at it,
her purse at it, and then ate the purse,
and then ran off, and then we go full flat, like I said, full slapstick. She goes and she runs into this farmer lady, this older, cross-eyed farmer woman. And there's an insurance guy there, a very, goofy looking, with the comb over and frazzled looking insurance salesman. Your job is very dangerous. You're out in the sun all day. You need insurance. And then she comes up And then he said something about there's wild animals, and then she comes out screaming about a crocodile, and he's like, "See, wild animals.
Do you need insurance?
Do you need insurance?" And then she runs to the police station. This is where we figure out that Wong is a cop, and she is like assailing him with this crocodile, and he's just like trying to calmly take a report, and she's all over the place. And anyways, so then we get. The first act is a whole lot of her and Officer Wong going around.
Yeah.
Wong obviously annoyed and not believing her, and her just constantly screaming about this crocodile.
Yeah.
And
They went back to the field to
Yeah.
where the insurance agent and farmer lady was, and he was like, and the insurance agent was like, "Your
Oh,
job
God.
is very dangerous."
And and then you get the whole comedy bit of him he bought her a bus ticket and trying to force her on the bus, and he carries her on the bus, and he's like, "Don't let her get off." And then as soon as they start going, she jumps out the window.
No, that's when the scene that's the same
and that guy
scene
comes out, and
with the
he
goat.
and he's like, "My sheep's gone missing," or
And she's
whatever.
like, screaming about, "I told you there's an alligator."
And so
Then-
anyway, and this is all intercut. There's the scenes of the kids swimming in the lake or whatever, and this one guy, he looks like he may be a little special. Shows up. I don't know if he's drunk or what, and is watching and he sees the crocodile get in the water, and
He's
we
like, "Dinosaur."
we see Zhao, and he's holding his arm above the water, trying to keep the ink from washing off or whatever. But we see him get pulled underwater, and we saw the croc, the croc vision. And we thought, but I never thought that at this point in the movie, I was like, I'm pretty sure I know what kind of movie I'm in, and this croc is not going to eat this kid. But he gets pulled in water, and then Wong finds the severed lamb head or whatever, and he's like, "Your kids were swimming in the lake by the dam or whatever," and he gets all freaked out, and then he goes, and the kids aren't there. But then he goes home, and Zhao is totally naked,
trying to climb up the pole to his room.
Yeah, trying to climb up the pole or whatever it was, and Wynn's of course in tow, and you get the bit where he's like, "She saw my privates,"
And then he puts a pot over his privates.
over his front, and then he as he goes up the door, he switches it to hide his butt or whatever.
Yeah,
and I mean. Some of it is mildly amusing. I've already, at this point, like I said, I've found a lot of the stuff with Wong and Wynn pretty annoying. And I'm like, okay, well, this is not the movie that I thought I was getting or that I wanted. And these characters are kind of, especially Wynn, is kind of annoying. But, whatever.
it's entertaining.
I guess. Mildly amusing in spurts.
Then we have all the scenes with the
Zhao.
restaurant workers.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when he's like, they lost the croc
they
and they
lost the
can't tell the cops, and the
Going like-
guy's brother's dead, and he's
He's like-
crying about it.
He's like, "We'll make this all better, I promise to you." Then here's all, and then another layer scene. He's like, "Here's all your brother's stuff. Go bury it."
Yeah, go bury it.
and be happy, get a smile on that face.
Yeah, and then Wong goes, and Wong, one thing, and this is one thing that I don't think the movie's all that well written, because they and even his own son calls Wong Wrong Way Wong. I guess I'm not really sure why, other than he's a bad shot. We'll learn, because I guess not everyone is issued a gun, and he hasn't been issued a gun because he can't pass his range test or whatever.
Yeah,
but
because because he hadn't hit a target, so that's why they call him Wong Wei Wong.
okay, so, and even his son is derogatory, but they treat him like an absolute buffoon. Everyone talks about he's an absolute idiot. At one point, the chief is having a conference, and he's the water boy or something. And I just don't think that the way it's written, the way the actor plays it, he's not played or written goofy enough, I think, to warrant the complete, dismissal and making fun of that he receives from all the other people in this movie. Because he, like, even like in the first scene, like he
Mhm.
seems like a pretty serious father. And there's no point. I mean, there's some goofy stuff with him, especially when he gets the gun later and
Yeah.
he's like, practicing,
Well, that's one of the first.
drawing it and doing that kind of stuff.
One
But
of the first scenes is him trying to, do the video game, and his son is like, "You're the wrong way,"
yeah,
because
yeah.
he couldn't hit anything on the game.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I just don't feel like he's played the part's not played goofy enough to warrant the complete
Well, and
bullying that
also,
he receives.
when his wife went to Italy, he had to take his son to work every day, so they called him nanny officer.
They called him nanny officer before they called him, yeah. And that's another thing that I thought was confusing for a while that I don't think was well written was they say, like I said early on, that when
Well, I think it's heavily implied in the later part that she left him to go to Italy.
yeah, but before that, they tell us that Wynn came back from
Mm-hmm.
Italy, and that's where she got all of her euros or whatever.
Mhm.
And then, it's not too long after that where Zhao tells his dad, like, why don't you go back to Italy and bring her mother back or bring my mom back or whatever. And so I spent a while thinking before they met up, I guess it's not that much long, but
Mhm.
oh, this Wynn woman's going to be, his wife or whatever coming back from Italy and she's, messing around or whatever. But it's clear as soon as they meet that that's not the case. And I kept thinking, oh, well, she's going to have known the mom because, they both were in Italy or whatever. And then I thought for a little bit, but that never really materializes. Then I thought for a little bit, maybe going to Italy was a euphemism for mom died.
Nah.
And that's not the case either because he clearly states later that when Zhao was 3 months old, his mom left him and went to Italy.
Mhm.
But no, I thought there should have been like, why would you have the woman coming back from Italy and their mom leaving to go to Italy and not have there be some kind of connection there? That was a little weird from a writing standpoint too. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it didn't bother me that much.
It is just whatever. Anyway, second act, he goes to Zhao's place to question him about the gator, and then while he's out, and Liu, this is another thing that's very underdeveloped. I think Liu, the old man that had the Crocs in the first place,
Mhm.
goes home to Beijing, where I guess he hasn't been home in a while, and his wife, like, I guess hates him because he left them for crocodiles or spent his
Yeah.
whole life, more worried about, but very underdeveloped. Like I said, she's basically like, he's like, I won't mention crocodiles in front of you anymore. And then immediately gets a phone call and starts talking about
Mhm.
crocodiles. And then his daughter's there. And Zhao had called him grandpa
But,
earlier in the movie. But now I think that was just like, an affectionate term that they used or
I think
whatever.
that's just a thing they do.
But I
yeah.
was confused for a little bit. I was like, oh, so he's not Zhao's real grandpa. But anyway, but yeah, Leo goes home and like I said, very underdeveloped. It's just a couple of scenes of him like trying to get along with his wife. In fact, the whole thing with Liu is a little weird at the end too. But anyway, while Wang is interrogating Zhao or whatever, he calls Liu and Liu's like, oh, she's making her way back to her nest or whatever, and your house is on the path. And Amao then attacks the house and climbs up the stairs, and we get the gator vision when Wen gets like the butcher knife or whatever to go after her, like the croc just sees the guy that went after her with a machete earlier and it goes berserk and tries to eat them, and then they're like dangling off the roof at one point, and then Wong shows back up on his little moped,
the moped he borrowed.
that he borrowed. And in a very poorly staged action sequence, he like ramps the moped to like chase off the gator or the croc or something.
I think it hits the croc.
Or something. The way it's edited, you can't really tell. But and then a Mao runs off or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we get, some scenes at the police station. And I think it's at the police station where Zhao, the bad guy, overhears that
Yeah, that's when he was interrogating him right before he went to go to the meeting.
Yeah. And Win like goes up to Zhao and asks him, you know about crocodiles. How does their digestive system work? And anyway, through their conversation.
He's like, they have the most like
most
sophisticated.
most effective, efficient. Yeah. And through their conversation, he figures out that the croc ate 100,000 euros. So now he goes home and he gets his employees and he's like, we're going to go hunting for this croc. And so they go out, and,
a lot of goofy scenes.
a lot of goofy stuff. They go out and
Because they have the one Seth guy that has like the Superman shirt on.
yeah.
And he's like, he's not all there, I don't think.
No, I don't think any. And at some points, I think he has like a stutter or something.
Because he like twitches. He's like,
Yeah, and he has like a twitch or whatever. And then you have the guy's brother who's still very like hysterical and all that. And they go out and the one guy, the brother guy, like gets cut by something.
he remember that he fell down and he cut his arm on his machete.
Okay, yeah, he cut his arm and he like passes out and is just left there in the
Well,
field.
he doesn't just pass out. He got lost and then he got scared and ran into a tree.
Yeah, and he is like left in the field.
And then they're like, then when the other guys noticed it, their boss is like, well, go find him.
And then meanwhile, like Wong has gone out with the police force and they're like, looking for the croc or whatever. And Wen takes this little Zhao, this little boy, just like, hey, go show me where this place is at. And takes him into mortal danger because no one cares about this young kid's life, apparently. And why?
Everybody except the dad.
Wong left his son in the care of this woman that he barely knows, so I don't think his dad is that responsible.
I don't think he left it in the care of the woman.
I mean, he clearly told her watch out.
He left him at the police station.
Well, whatever. Anyway, so they go running off, and then they run into Zhao, and then they all go running towards the lake or whatever, and then Zhao just decides to kidnap them and tie them up and use them as gator bait.
Well, he was only going to tie the boy up first, and then
she's
she
like,
complained.
use me instead, and he's like, okay, tie her up too.
And they both are hanging there.
And they're both hanging upside down. And then a Mao comes out of the lake and walks up to them, but she doesn't want to eat her little friend Zhao, so she just lays down. But then they shoot a dart at her, and she gets
Superman set guy
pissed off, and then like they try to throw a net on her. And then the net gets caught on her tail, and then Zhao gets caught in the net. And when she runs, it drags him into the water. And of course, you know where this is going. He's walking out of the water, and then
boom.
I think the only direct death that she causes in the whole movie, that she actually directly, intentionally kills anyone in the whole movie, is she eats Zhao.
To be fair, he deserved it.
I mean, he's the bad guy. I figured it was coming, but I needed a lot more gator croc carnage. Even if this is going to be a comedy, like we just watched Anaconda, the reboot, whatever thing recently, and that was a comedy, but there was a fair amount of people eaten by the anaconda. Like this has, I guess she kills 3 people in this movie. She indirectly kills the butcher at the beginning when she like tail whips him into the croc enclosure and the smaller crocs eat him.
Yeah. She
does eat Zhao.
Yeah.
And then I guess she kills Liu at the end.
He kills Liu.
Like she like headbutts him and he goes flying and it's at the end of the movie. He goes flying and we hear a crunch. There's a crunch sound effect, like he snapped his spine or something. And then he just kind of lays there motionless for the rest of the scene. So maybe he's dead. I don't know.
We never know what happened to the crazy brother guy.
He got like thrown aside into the crowd too. So yeah, I think she might kill 3 people in this movie. But anyway, kills Zhao.
But that's the whole point of the movie. She didn't want to kill anybody.
She's not a killer croc. She's just a scared croc trying to find a nest for her eggs.
Yeah.
Not very interesting for a movie plot, but whatever. Anyway, so then Liu comes back from Beijing and him and Wong go out on the lake. and they try to lead her with they put a chicken on a little
Yeah.
raft and drag it behind the boat.
Yeah. We really said all these scenes out of order.
A little bit. They put a chicken on a raft behind the boat, and she doesn't go for it. And because at one point, I guess after that, then, they kind of give up. But then there's a couple out on the lake or something, and she overturns their boat, and then they go back out and lead her away. And then she goes away, and then Leo's like, I got to get in the water. So then he leads her up to the shore, and then she lunges and attacks.
And then after that, that's when the whole scene we described earlier happened.
Yeah, he's able to like put his pole on her snout and like get her to calm down. And it looks like it's all gone well and it's about to be over. But then, the brother guy like woke up in the field with his machete and somehow stumbled back onto the lake and sees all this happening and like charges and then agitates her again. She goes wild, and that's when she throws Liu aside and
The brother guy.
the brother guy aside. And then, Wong gets his big redemption arc where he's got one shot to shoot her through the upper jaw and in through the brain. And he does.
Yeah.
And she dies. And then we cut, and I guess Wong and Win are now an item.
Some shorts.
They're-
She's taping all the
euros back
euros
together.
together.
Yeah, did they like cut the crock open and get all the euros out?
I guess so.
Why are they all shredded? I don't know, but
Well, they were in the digestive system
yeah,
for a while.
I don't know why they would be shredded and not just gone. But anyway, and they're like gonna eat a family dinner, and they're still doing like the little shooter game thing, and
And the son's like, "You're not wrong anymore."
yeah. And then we get directed by, and then it cuts back, and then we go to the lake. There's like the taxi driver that I think was sleeping at the lake.
Yeah.
Even when she first showed up, still sleeping,
It's been the whole thing, the whole movie.
and the camera pans down, and there's they talked about she was pregnant and trying to lay eggs, and she did lay her nest of eggs, and they're hatching, and then cut to credits and another rock song. The end.
No, the end.
So, listen, I mean, some of it is mildly amusing. I mean, I would have rather had a more serious movie, even if the effects were cheesy and all that. I would have wanted a movie where the croc was eating people.
I didn't mind it.
The comedy
was
stuff,
enjoyable.
I thought wore thin pretty fast. I mean, there were a couple of chuckle moments, but not enough. And,
To be fair, you and me have different taste in comedies.
I guess I just not a big comedy guy. I mean, I don't watch a lot of comedies. I don't seek out comedies. I mean, there's a couple of classic comedies that I enjoy, but and this is not a very good comedy. I mean, the not well written. The characters aren't all that great. A lot of them are kind of annoying.
Are they ever in most comedies?
No, I mean, I think the most interesting relationship in the movie is Zhao and the croc. But I think there's not enough time spent with that. So it is what it is. It's short. I think it's like 85 minutes or something. So there's that. But anyway,
85 minutes of pure gold.
no.
It, like the box said, it's a genuine cinematic milestone.
Yeah, a milestone for what? I'm not really sure. But creature design is a giant croc.
It's way better animated than those last several Anaconda or...
Yeah, getting into effects, me and Andrew have been going through the direct-to-video Anaconda, Lake Placid movies, and it's better rendered than
any of those.
the creatures in any of those movies. The CGI is still not good, but for a 2012 Chinese creature feature, I think it's about the best you could expect.
Yeah.
It functions. It doesn't like completely take you out of the movie. Some scenes look better than others. I think when the crocodile's like lying still is actually a pretty good like textured
Yeah.
skin and everything. When it goes to moving, it is what it is. But
It's still better than any of those like flaccid ones.
yeah,
You could barely tell they're gators.
Yeah.
Or crocodiles.
or snakes in the Anaconda
Snakes.
movies. Yeah, it is what it is. And then score again, kind of all over the place. That stupid pop song they play every time Win shows up on screen. I mean, it gets old really fast. There's a couple of rock songs. I actually thought the rock song at the over the end credits was pretty good.
Not bad.
It wasn't bad, but and then the score that isn't a needle drop, pretty forgettable. I already forgot
It's
it.
decent.
But
It
anyway,
functioned as a score.
I guess. Anyway, you want to do some final thoughts?
Why not?
Yeah, go for it.
Like we said, this movie, it's all right. It gets from point A to point B. It has some, plot issues with some things being left out and some things not being said properly. But what movie doesn't?
Sure.
Sometimes, you're just writing something and you just get sidetracked.
Yeah, that's when you need a strong director to come in and kind of right the ship.
You're like, what was I doing on this part?
Or a strong editor to come in and say, we're cutting this stuff out.
What's its subplot? We don't need it.
Yeah.
It goes nowhere. Or, then the score is the score. It's alright. It functions as a score. And no, it's not the worst score or sound mix I've heard in a movie.
Not the worst.
I've heard way worse. I've heard scores that just don't correlate with the movie at all.
We have. Yes.
They're like, what?
What?
What is this? And then, the animation, on the croc is not bad. It looks pretty. You can tell it's a crocodile. You can pretty clearly tell it's a crocodile.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell it's crocodile. I got two eyes that mostly still work.
And, it's not like, what is that kind of animation? Like those like flashes I've said. So you're like, huh?
Yeah.
I think the acting is alright. It's they do the best with what they have.
Yeah.
They say their lines and they keep it going.
Yeah.
I'll give this movie a C-.
Okay, yeah, listen. It's not the movie I wanted or expected. It's not a giant creature feature horror thriller thing. It is a comedy with some a couple of crocodile chase scenes. The effects are what they are. It could be worse, could be better. The acting, the woman playing Win gives a pretty annoying performance. The guy playing Wong and the kid playing Zhao, I think, actually does a pretty good job. But the characters are all underwritten. I got some real issues with the writing and how they've, portrayed a couple of the characters. Like you said, a couple of subplots that kind of don't really go anywhere. Probably too many characters, especially considering that only like 3 people die in this movie. I needed a lot more carnage in this movie. And the comedy itself, like I said, there's a couple of choco moments. I'm mildly amused at times, but it gets old a long time before the movie ends. And yeah, I didn't have a lot of fun. I did not think it was a very good movie, and I'm going to give it like a D. I think I would rather rewatch last week's movie. At least last week's movie was just like, what? Why? How? But anyway. Andrew, did you hear the big news yesterday afternoon that was announced?
What big news was announced yesterday?
They announced the North American release date for Godzilla Minus Zero. Actually, they announced the Japanese and North American release date. It will release in Japan on November 3rd, as I suspected.
Yeah.
And then they're going to release it in America November 6th. So a near simultaneous release. and they released the first poster.
Wow.
Very, you know, ambiguous. All it is like the sun shining down on some clouds and then like an ominous blue glow underneath. So, you know, doesn't reveal much about the movie, but
As it should.
as it shouldn't. And I'm stoked and I can't wait and I am all ready for it. How about you?
Oh yeah.
I-
I'm ready to see where they take this sequel to the greatest Godzilla thing ever made.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
As some
very
would say.
as some would say. I am very interested to see where they take the sequel, where they take the story. And I can't wait. We've got how many months is that? 10 months or give or take.
Over half a year.
Yeah, well over half a year. So we got a while, but it's coming. It's coming.
It's coming.
Other than that,
After G-Fest.
it is after G-Fest. That is true. Other than that, I did want to say I pre-ordered it like a year ago. I got they released that here a while back. They finally translated it into English, like the original stories that Toho commissioned on Godzilla and Godzilla Raised Again to then have their screenwriters base a movie off of.
Yeah.
Well, they did the same thing for Mothra, and the story is called The Luminous Fairies and Mothra, and it finally came in.
It's crazy how back in the day they're like, write a book so we can make a movie off of it.
Yeah, what it appears what Toho would do is they would commission some authors to write a book with the intention of then having it turned into a screenplay that they would then turn into a movie. So I guess it maybe sped up the screenwriting process. I don't know.
Because, you know, they just read a book and copy it down.
Yeah. So anyway, it came in and I started reading it. I've read the first couple of chapters, and as soon as I'm done reading it, I will, of course. It's the year of Mothra, 65th anniversary. Is that right? Of the original film. And I will.
I wonder what they're going to do at G-Fest for that.
I don't know. They'll probably, I'm sure, show the original Mothra movie at if they have the.
And like they did last year for 1985, have a whole panel about it.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. And I will review the book as soon as I'm finished with it. As far as the schedule is concerned, we're actually not going to do Ultraman next week. I've got that pushed, even though I think it does end this week, but we're going to push it back one more week just to be safe. And the next week we will be doing the Black Scorpion. Ooh. And then we'll do, to cap off the month, the Ultraman Omega recap. Me and Andrew are working on catching up. And then we've got some fun stuff. We've got the Blob trilogy coming up. The original The Blob 1958 movie or whatever it is. Then its little known sequel, Beware the Blob. And then, of course, the 80s remake. And then I've got some more 50s B movies like The Giant Behemoth, Attack of the Giant Leeches, Beast from Haunted Cave, and The Monster That Challenged the World. So look forward to all that.
Oh, yeah.
And like I've said, this summer will be Creature Feature Summer. We've got, of course, Jaws and Deep Blue Sea. We're going to be rotating those leading up to our G-Fest break.
Ooh.
And then before those, I put a bunch of creature features like Grizzly and Grizzly 2 and Razorback. And I got the book for Razorback so I can read that and be prepared.
We're getting into the thick of it.
Yeah. But and then I did, of course, put on the schedule or I thought I did I not? I guess I haven't put it on there yet. But of course, the second episode in November will be Godzilla Minus Zero. So look forward to that. But other than that, I think that is, all we've got for you today. Andrew, anything else you got?
No, not really. I think that's we covered pretty much everything we needed to do today.
All right. Well, don't forget that you can always contact us at stompthisway1954@gmail.com.
And you can find our website at www.stompthisway.wordpress.com.
That's right. And you can also find us on social media at Stomp This Way on Facebook, Instagram, and X. And also look forward to the debut of our new podcast, Pulse Check, a horror movie podcast, coming in February, first Monday of February. But other than that, and then next week, don't forget, is the Black Scorpion. But other than that, as always, I'm Aaron.
I'm Andrew.
And we will see you next time.